Hi everyone, welcome to Midnight Storytime. Before watching the video, please give me a like and subscribe. Thank you very much. She once told me, "You may possess my body, but you will never have my heart." Later, when I realized I had pampered the wrong person, I simply waved my hand and decided to let her go. At first, she looked at me with pure disdain. "Fine, I'm leaving. Just don't come begging for me to return later." 3 days later, she was crawling at my feet, sobbing. "I'll be good, I promise. Please, don't abandon me." I had pampered the female lead for 6 months, but her affection level remained at a flat 0. I couldn't take it anymore, so I decided to force her hand. Only then did the system wake up and drop a bombshell. I had pampered the wrong person. So, who was the woman currently lying in my arms? The villainous Mia. Mia had a tragic past, spending 20 years struggling in the slums. Now, she was the cold-blooded leader of the city's southern gangs. The first time I met her, she was gravely injured. Even then, her prideful silhouette was so captivating I couldn't look away. But now I'm just busy calculating exactly how I'm going to die. System, go finish your job. I'll send you the real female lead's exact location. Just don't get the wrong person again, I muttered. I prepared to sneak away, but suddenly, a pair of arms locked tightly around me. "Where are you going?" Mia's voice was thick with sleep, carrying a faint, barely detectable hint of sadness. I'm hungry," I croaked. She stood up, waiting for me. Watching her walk out of the room, I punched the headboard in frustration. I'm so dead. I still remember 3 months ago, I drugged her, tied her up, and squeezed out a few fake tears for effect. "Darling, I'm only doing this because I love you too much," I'd said. I remember her biting her lip back then, giving me a bizarre, twisted smile. "Love me? Don't regret it." The second she said those words, I felt a chill of fear. Now, it's too late for regrets. 6 months ago, after the system gave me the mission, it went into hibernation. Its wake-up date was drawing near, but my progress in winning her over hadn't moved an inch. Lana, the real female lead, was the heiress in this underworld novel. Although she came from the city's most powerful mafia family, she had been kidnapped by enemies as a child and endured countless hardships, eventually becoming a beggar on the streets. When I transmigrated into the book, she hadn't been found by her family yet and was living a dangerous life. I was a doctor at a small clinic. I had rescued the severely injured Mia, brought her home, and cared for her meticulously, mistaking her for the lost heiress. When she first woke up, she glared at me with guarded eyes, baring her teeth like a feral animal. "What are you looking at? Keep staring, and I'll gouge your eyes out." I remember thinking, why is the female lead so aggressive? This pampering mission is going to be harder than I thought. I poured my heart into taking care of her, eventually winning a sliver of her trust. But when the affection level stayed at 0, I felt I had no choice but to resort to that drastic measure. How did it never cross my mind that she simply wasn't the female lead? I'm truly finished this time. I picked at the rice in my bowl, unable to taste a thing. Mia spoke up coldly. "Weren't you hungry? Is my cooking not good enough for you?" "No, of course not." I quickly shoveled the rest of the rice into my mouth. Only then did she stand up and throw on her coat. "I'm going out to handle some business." Instinctively, I asked, "Where to?" "None of your business." Fine, exactly what I wanted. Ever since I claimed her, she's maintained that attitude of "you have my body, but not my heart." If I hadn't saved her life before, she would have killed me long ago. Because Mia hates me, her only revenge is the torment she puts me through every night. But soon, I won't have to worry about that anymore. As soon as she left, I opened the tracking coordinates the system sent me. The real female lead was in danger at a casino in the southern part of the city. This girl, Lana, is the fragile heiress of the Stone family. I am the only one who can cure her illness. I double-checked the info. No more mistakes. City A is a gambling mecca where everyone is obsessed with luck. Gold and Fortune Entertainment in the south is the biggest money sink in town. It used to be the Stone family's territory, but not long ago, the Holloway family seized half of it. Though the Stones rule the south, they are wary of the Holloways and haven't dared to retaliate openly. Coincidentally, Mia is the top enforcer for the Holloway family. The atmosphere outside today felt eerie. The 24-hour neon lights at the entrance were dark. Even from a distance, I could hear a commotion inside, and my heart skipped a beat. A gunshot rang out, followed by the screams of a crowd as people came pouring out of the gates in a panic. Taking advantage of the chaos, I slipped in through a side door. The roar of a Maserati shook the ground, and the air was thick with dust. My nose caught the sharp, metallic scent of blood. It looked like the Holloways were being raided. As the dust settled, I saw Mia in the distance, casually wiping blood off her fingers with a cold, detached expression. Suddenly, someone lunged at her from behind. I was about to shout a warning when a cold blade pressed against my throat. A warm, yet shivering body pressed against my back. "Don't make a sound," a voice whispered. "Do you know her?" I caught the faint scent of traditional herbal medicine mixed with a nearly imperceptible smell of blood. She was injured. I calmed my racing heart and spoke softly. "We're strangers. Just let me get you out of here." I finally managed to haul her onto my motorized tricycle. She bit her lip, eyeing me. "How did you even dare to come inside?" She likely meant how a dirt-poor guy like me could afford a casino where the minimum buy-in is $3 million. I lied without blinking. "Oh, I was just delivering food." She fell silent, clutching the wound on her arm. Fresh blood soaked through her clothes, staining her pale fingers crimson. I stole a glance at her. This was the real deal. This was Lana. Although she and Mia are half-sisters, they look remarkably alike. Both have that cold, powerful aura. However, the female lead feels more righteous, her temperament more refined. For instance, right now, she was merely pressing a gun gently against my back while asking me to take her home, her tone still quite polite. "Thank you, Mr. Wong." I rolled my eyes as I drove. "My last name is Vance." "My apologies, Mr. Vance." Her voice grew fainter until the weight against my back lightened. Lana had passed out. I drove her to the designated location, dropped her off at the gates of the Stone Estate, and left immediately. This is an underworld novel. After all, even the protagonists live in constant peril. I had no desire to be silenced by the stones. Besides, I knew Lana would eventually track me down. When I got home, I finished showering and stepped out to find Mia had returned. She wasn't injured, so it looked like I wouldn't have to play doctor tonight. She glared at me. "Stop trying to seduce me. I'm wearing a towel, aren't I?" I asked. "Baby, were you out on a job again?" She froze for a split second, then flopped onto the sofa. No, you smell like blood." She immediately started sniffing herself. "Impossible. I showered before I came back." She cut herself off, realizing she'd slipped up, and snapped. "I told you to stay out of my business. Don't think you can threaten me forever." Back then, to keep her by my side, I had told her that if she ever left, I wouldn't go on living. Now, I decided to play along with her wishes. "I won't threaten you anymore. You can go." She bolted upright. "What did you just say?" "I said you're free to go. Don't you hate me?" "Damn it," I thought, seeing the conflict in her eyes. Don't tell me she's hesitating. She looked frustrated, gritting her teeth. "Fine. If that's what you want, I'm gone. You're the one telling me to leave, Vance. Even if you beg me to come back, I never will." I remained expressionless. "Good riddance. I've put up with your stubborn temper long enough." She let out a furious laugh. "Only a dog would come back here." Mia stormed out, not even bothering to close the door behind her. I let out a massive sigh of relief. She hadn't taken anything with her. I began packing her belongings, planning to move out myself in a few days. Based on the timeline, Lana should be finding me soon. Near dusk, just as I was about to close up and rest, two women, one stout, one thin, walked in with wide grins. "Brother-in-law, Boss Mia has been in a terrible mood lately. Life is miserable for the rest of us. Won't you go and coax her?" The stout one chimed in. "Exactly. Boss gets drunk every single night, and even Big Boss Holloway is unhappy. Please go talk some sense into her." I picked up the teacup beside me and splashed the contents at their feet. "Get out. Don't bring her drama to my door ever again." The two of them were taken aback and laughed awkwardly, but I was in no mood for their nonsense and slammed the door shut. That night, however, I tossed and turned. Having grown accustomed to me sleeping beside me, the sudden void was unsettling. In a fit of resolve, I grabbed her pillow and hurled it out of the room. Only then did my heart finally settle. But in the dead of night, I was jolted awake by the sound of muffled sobbing. I opened my eyes grollily to find someone curled up in my arms. I sat bolt upright. It was Mia, trembling as she wept, the faint scent of alcohol clinging to her. I pushed her shoulder lightly. "Have you been drinking?" She only clung to me tighter, whimpering, "I'll be good. I'll be so good. Please don't abandon me." My eyes widened in disbelief. "What did you just say?" She lifted her head, her face a mask of tears. The moonlight caught her drunken features. The redness around her eyes had stripped away her usual fierce facade, leaving her looking fragile and pathetic. "I was just so scared you'd leave me," she choked out, her voice raspy and unlike her usual self. "That's why I pretended not to care. But I care so much it's killing me. I can't live without you." Has she drunk herself into brain damage? I couldn't believe it and felt her forehead. In all the time I'd known her, she had never uttered a single soft word. Usually, we couldn't go 10 sentences without an argument. Now, the cold Black Panther had transformed into a kitten begging for a pat. Before I could react, she flipped over. "You can do whatever you want to me. I won't pretend anymore." "Whoa, calm down." I reached for her hands, but she pinned my wrists against the pillow with surprising strength. I couldn't move. Her cold lips began kissing my face frantically. But a second later, she went limp, falling onto me like a collapsing mountain. Me had passed out drunk. The next morning, I woke up to find the spot beside me empty. I assumed she had woken up and left out of embarrassment. To my surprise, the door swung open, and Mia stood there holding a spatula. "Since you're awake, come eat," she said, tossing her head arrogantly before walking out. Once I finished getting ready and sat at the table, she was there waiting for me. I teased her. "Didn't you say only a dog would come back? What are you doing here?" Mia glared at me, her face flushing crimson with shame. Then she let out a soft woof. "Satisfied?" she snapped. I nearly burst out laughing. "Even barking won't work. I gave you your freedom. You don't need to come back." She fell silent. The main character's affection level was still at 0, yet I had somehow trained the villainess into a loyal pup. Seeing my silence, Mia's eyes welled up again. "You've packed everything. You really were going to leave me behind, weren't you? What gives you the right to just walk away?" Her voice wavered with a mix of urgency and anger. "I was on a peaceful life. I defended myself." She stood up abruptly. "Then why did you mess with me in the first place?" I was speechless. What was I supposed to say? That I'd picked the wrong person? Suddenly, there was a frantic knocking at the door. "Boss Mia, something's happened. Big Boss is calling you back." Mia frowned. She got up, exchanged a few quick words with the person outside, and then turned back to me with a warning, "Don't go running off. Wait for me to come back." She took a few steps away, but still feeling uneasy, she turned back and gave my face a fierce, aggressive kiss. "I've told you, since you're the one who messed with me, don't you dare regret it." Mia then called a few of her lackeys to surreptitiously keep an eye on me. I went out to buy groceries, and they followed me, keeping a consistent, awkward distance. Every time I turned around, they would simultaneously look up at the sky, pretending to be random passersby. Their IQ was pitifully low. I asked the thin one, "Where did Mia go?" He stammered, "Last time at the casino, Boss injured the Vance family's eldest miss. Big Boss Holloway wants her to lie low for a while." I chuckled to myself. Talk about the flood washing away the god of wealth's temple. Wait, the thin lackey suddenly blocked my path. I looked up and saw several men in black suits standing in front of my clinic. The window of a car parked across the street slowly rolled down, and a chill ran down my spine. The lackey's hair stood on end. The thin one shouted, "Quick, get the brother-in-law out of here." I grabbed the kid just as he was about to charge. "They have guns. Where are we going to run?" A man in black approached. "Are you Mr. Vance? Our eldest miss wishes to see you." Inside the car, Lana gave a faint smile, as if saying, "I finally caught you." The car pulled into the Vance family villa. I was nervous for no clear reason. She wouldn't silence me, would she? I saved her life. Lana smiled. "How could I? I always settle my debts clearly. You saved me, and I will certainly repay you, but why did you just dump me at the gate? I have a massive lump on my head because of that." Her smile was gentle, but her words made my skin crawl. I took the initiative. "I'm a doctor. I can help treat your condition. I could tell you needed medical attention the moment I saw you." She arched an eyebrow. "Is that what you told her too?" I wasn't surprised she had investigated my connection with Mia. I explained she and I were strictly doctor and patient. "You don't need to kidnap me to threaten her." She closed her eyes to rest. "I'm not kidnapping you. I'm just thanking you for saving my life by repaying you." Repaying was just a fancy word for house arrest. In the middle of the night, Lana summoned me to her room. She had just taken her medicine, and her face was flushed from her illness. She coughed a few times and said softly, "Sit." I couldn't help but stay on guard. This was the fragile female lead, but after everything she'd been through, she was more like a venomous snake living in damp shadows. One lapse in concentration and she'd bite. If it weren't for the mission, I realized I actually preferred Mia's impulsive, blunt nature. Lana gave a soft laugh. "What are you afraid of? I won't eat you." She poured me a cup of tea and gestured for me to take it. I stiffly accepted. "Why call me here this late?" "Someone wants to rescue you," she said. "If she can help me win back the Southern Casino tonight, I'll let you go." Hearing that, I could no longer remain seated. What kind of repayment is this? Do you have any idea that she might die? Lana appraised me with an air of amused curiosity. "For your sake, she didn't just betray her boss. She charged in alone. It seems her debt to you for saving her life is quite significant." I suppressed the fury rising in my chest, silently chanting to myself 3 times, "She is the female lead." I picked up the teacup, drained it in one gulp, and snapped, "Bullshit. I saved your life too. You're sick. You need treatment. You're out of your mind." She didn't get angry at my outburst. She simply poured me another cup. "Then tell me, doctor, what is my ailment?" I checked my watch, irritated. "You have a congenital condition. Physical illnesses are easy enough to treat, but the most critical issue is your psychological trauma, your heart sickness." She laughed. "Heart sickness? And what would that be?" She leaned closer, the scent of traditional herbs clinging to her. "All human heart sickness stems from affection," I said. "Family, friendship, or love. It's one of those 3 without fail." She looked at me deeply. "You are very intelligent, but you're also an expert at playing innocent. No wonder Mia likes you." My heart skipped a beat. Lana had indeed uncovered Mia's true identity and our history. I continued to play dumb. "You mean Mia?" Suddenly, a knock came at the door. "Eldest miss, she has returned. Bring her in." The moment Mia burst into the room, a thick, metallic scent of blood filled the air. She lunged at Lana like a vengeful demon, her movements so fast I couldn't react. The bodyguards outside all leveled their guns. "Stop right now," I screamed in panic. "Didn't you say you'd listen to me?" Mia barely managed to check her strike, her fists smashing into the table and shattering the wood. "You despicable coward," she hissed at Lana. Lana wiped a drop of blood from the corner of her mouth and waved the guards off. "Behave. Get out," she commanded. Mia turned and threw her arms around me, her entire body shaking. "It's okay. Don't be afraid." To say I wasn't worried would be a lie. My hands were on her shoulders, and my palms were instantly soaked with blood. She gripped my hand, her face deathly pale, cold sweat pouring down her forehead. I was frantic. "Go, go, go. I need to dress your wounds." Lana spoke up behind us. "You've done what you promised me. And as you can see, Mr. Vance is unharmed." Mia, white as a sheet from blood loss, looked at her with pure loathing. "You should be lucky he's safe." Having pushed herself past her limit, Mia collapsed. She ran a high fever for 3 days, calling my name in her delirium. I stayed awake for several nights straight, watching over her, my eyes heavy with exhaustion. Just then, Lana's illness flared up again. Her body was naturally frail, and the wound Mia had inflicted on her previously hadn't fully healed. I found myself forced to run back and forth between the two of them. Mia is only impulsive and hot-headed on the surface. In reality, if you give her just a little bit of sweetness, she'll wag her tail for you. Lana, however, is the exact opposite. Outwardly, she is a humble, approachable young lady, but she is intensely guarded, harboring a deep-seated tendency towards self-destruction. She hates taking her medicine because she's constantly preoccupied with business and navigating the politics of the great families. She simply doesn't care for her own body. I told her helplessly, "Eldest miss, recovering from an illness requires you to avoid worry and overthinking. Otherwise, no amount of medicine will help." She thanked me, coughing so hard she couldn't find her voice. I poured her a glass of freshly made honey water. "You have to drink something sweet after taking your medicine." She gave a soft smile. "Is this also part of your responsibility?" I patted my chest. "This is what we call humanitarian care." She looked at me knowingly. "You want me to let her go, don't you?" Seeing that she had seen right through me, I gave a forced laugh. She continued, "Don't worry. She is my sister. I won't make things difficult for her. I looked up, feigning surprise at the word sister. Lana, close her eyes. Didn't you want to know what my heart sickness is? Actually, I already knew that her trauma was tied to Mia. Lana's mother passed away when she was 5, and her father remarried. Her stepmother treated Lana like her own flesh and blood, and even after Mia was born, she never mistreated her. On Mia's first birthday, the Stone family threw a massive celebration, but Lana suddenly spiked a high fever and fainted. The entire family was so frantic, rushing back and forth to care for her, that no one noticed the baby had vanished from the estate. Not long after, the Stone family received a small, mangled infant's body. Mia's mother committed suicide out of grief. Her father's hair turned white overnight. Although the perpetrator committed suicide and confessed, the true mastermind remained hidden, and the Stones were forced to endure the loss for many reasons. Following the kidnapping, the Holloway family, with the support of other clans, quickly seized control of the city's south, openly opposing the Stones. For over a decade, Lana has lived in a state of constant anxiety and fear, fueled by the need for revenge. The Holloway power in the city grew so large that eventually, no one could restrain them. Lana reclaiming the casino was only the first step in her retaliation. She opened her eyes, her face calm, though her fingers trembled slightly as she gripped her teacup. I wish I was the one kidnapped. My mother killed herself over my sister, and my father grew distant. I felt it was all my fault. She paused. My mother indulged me so much back then. According to the original plot, after Mia learned the truth of her past, her personality became increasingly obsessed. In a final battle, she was eventually drugged by the person she trusted most. She died before she even reached 22. I sighed deeply. How could any of that be your fault? You shouldn't carry that burden alone. She has suffered through so much, but I'm glad she met you. I found myself momentarily at a loss, unsure whether to call it luck or a curse. Clearly, the person I was meant to save was Lana, yet I had inadvertently crossed paths with Mia. Don't overthink it, I said gloomily. There is nothing between her and me anymore. Lana's eyes grew moist, clouded with confusion. Meeting her was a mistake, I continued, and I won't let that mistake continue. What did you say? A cold voice rang out from behind us, making me jump. Mia's face was dark with fury. I suddenly realized I should probably put some distance between myself and Lana. After all, I was in the wrong here, and my resolve felt weak. Didn't you hear me? I asked, my voice tight. She bit her lip, a self-deprecating smirk forming. So, I was supposed to hear that. I didn't answer. She struggled to keep her emotions in check, her breathing ragged and unstable. Do you really think she can give you a peaceful life? You lied to me. Lana tried to interject. Mia, he didn't. Shut up. This is between him and me. Mia barked. She was so agitated that the stitches on her wounds looked ready to burst. I felt a sudden surge of irritation. What are you making such a scene for? She's a patient. Is it so hard to understand when adults break up? At most, I just won't charge you for medical consultations in the future. Mia froze, the light in her eyes instantly shattering. Why? What did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. I did. I'm sorry. Mia suddenly laughed, a sound that sent a chill down my spine. She didn't say another word, turned around, and walked away. Lana panicked. Mr. Vance, go after her. She broke into a coughing fit, and the handkerchief in her hand was stained with flecks of blood. I hurriedly poured her some water. You've only got half a life left yourself. Stop worrying about others. Starting today, your life is in my hands. Lana started to say something else, but I cut her off. Just so you know, my fees aren't cheap. She gave a helpless smile. You don't actually have to pity me, you know. I don't pity you, but I'm going to cure you. She slowly lowered her eyes. Thank you. Mia returned to the Holloway family as the true heir. She wasted no time in dealing with her former boss. After the Holloway leadership collapsed under her coup, her forces rapidly seized control of the entire southern district. Before other clans could even think about forming an alliance against her, Mia had them by the throat. For a full month, she embarked on a bloody purge that left the entire city trembling in a reign of terror. The elders of the Stone family all advised against such total annihilation, but Lana merely said, "She has suffered so much injustice. Let her be." These two sisters, one with a refined exterior and the other with a refined interior, were neither of them truly good people. For the sake of my own survival, I dedicated myself to treating Lana. Her health improved significantly. Mia, as destined in the book, had become a ruthless villainess. The plot was back on track. Host, well done. Once the mission is complete, I will reward you with a Grand Wish bundle, the system announced. I struggled to pedal my small, clunky tricycle. In that case, I should thank you, system. It was nothing, the system replied. Lana had moved to a villa on the outskirts for her convalescence. I arrived punctually to check on her. She remained exceedingly polite and paid me a very generous fee. Her affection level had risen significantly, indicating she had begun to truly trust me. I smiled to myself. Excellent. I can afford an extra bowl of rice today. Please, don't stand on ceremony with me, she said shyly. Then I'll come back to see you tomorrow. There's work to do at the clinic. Lana stood up. Let me walk you out. Suddenly, a knock came at the door. Eldest miss, the younger miss has arrived. Mia was like a ghost. Every time I visited Lana's villa, she appeared shortly after. My eyelid twitched. I'll head out first. You two take your time. It had been a month since I'd seen Mia, and now, just hearing her name made me feel a pang of guilt. However, when I reached the gate, I found my little tricycle had been crushed flat. My heart ached. Which bastard ran over my bike? A soft chuckle rang out behind me. I thought it belonged to some beggar. Turns out it was Dr. Vance's beloved vehicle. After a month apart, Mia had grown much thinner. The traces of baby fat on her cheeks were gone. With it, every ounce of her former innocence had vanished. Her gaze was gloomier now, reminiscent of a scavenger bird circling prey. I was fuming. You did that on purpose, didn't you? I couldn't count how many times I had chauffeured her around on that very bike. She flicked a lighter in her hand. Get in the car. I'll take you back. I ignored her, trying to prop up my mangled tricycle. What are you afraid of? I lost interest in you a long time ago. I'm not that pathetic. I couldn't get the bike to stand. In a fit of rage, I kicked her car. I don't need your ride. Who knows what you're plotting? In the next second, my vision blurred. She tossed me into the back seat, slammed on the gas, and sped away. Knowing the route by heart, she drove straight to my house. What are you doing? I snapped. She threw a black card onto the table, her voice dripping with mockery. Don't you love treating patients? Well, I'm sick. I glanced at her. You're perfectly healthy. No exam needed. She let out a dry, cold laugh. Quack. Then, she collapsed onto the sofa and closed her eyes wearily. She pointed to her chest. It hurts right here. I hesitated for a moment, but eventually sat beside her. I used my stethoscope for a long time, but everything sounded normal. Suddenly, she grabbed my hand and pressed it firmly against her chest. Actually, you should never have appeared in my life, she whispered. If you hadn't, I would never have realized that I've been living in agony all along. I jerked my hand back in shock, immediately checking the system. There were no warnings about her breaking character or deviating from the plot. Misami let go of her hand and spoke with a bitter, hollow tone. I am burdened with too many sins. I can never live the life you desired. I'm sorry. I couldn't help but shudder. Even now, she still remembered the lies I'd told her long ago. I didn't dare look her in the eye, busying myself with tidying the medical instruments on the table. You should leave now. There was no answer. When I turned back, Mia had already vanished like a shadow. The next time I visited Lana, it was clear Mia had spoken to her. The tension between them was palpable. It was obvious that Mia neither liked the Stone family nor recognized Lana as her sister. Despite this, Lana remained incredibly tolerant of her, yielding the position of family head and letting Mia make all the executive decisions. Lana sat by the window, rubbing her temples wearily. What happened? I asked. Did Andrew Holloway, the youngest son of the Holloways, escape? Did they fail to catch him? Why take his anger out on you? Cornering a dog will only lead to a bite. I had arranged for someone to send him to Southeast Asia to avoid the fallout, she murmured. Does he know about this? I thought for a moment. Were you planning to handle him over there? Lana shook her head sadly. Initially, it was to reunite him with his family, but they were all killed abroad a few days ago. Regardless of who pulled the trigger, the Holloway remnants will blame the Stone family for it. In that case, I said instinctively, I won't come to disturb you for the next few days. Lana fell into a pensive silence. Your coming here isn't a disturbance. It's I who have brought trouble to you. I waved it off. I'm just fulfilling my duty as a doctor. Your body is no longer in any major danger. You just need to maintain your health from now on. Truth be told, if it weren't for the need to increase her affection level, I could have cured her on the very first day. She looked at me and asked suddenly, "Even you don't want to see me anymore?" The question caught me completely off guard. I didn't mean it like that. She was deadly serious. Me can't give you a peaceful life, but I can. I was so spooked I couldn't even sit still. Lana took a step toward me. I backed away until I hit the floor-to-ceiling window. There was nowhere left to run. Is there some kind of misunderstanding? I stammered. What misunderstanding? Her voice was seductive, as if she'd seen through my bluff a long time ago. Wasn't everything you did meant to get close to me? To make me love you? The female lead was too sharp. She wasn't like Mia, who was naive enough to believe love just fell from the sky. I stole a glance at the interface. How on earth had her affection level surged to 90%? She stared at me, trying to peel back my layers. I placed a hand on her forehead. Just as I thought. The illness isn't cured yet. You're having hallucinations. We need to increase the dosage. She suddenly burst out laughing, and the tension evaporated instantly. I told you, you're an expert at playing innocent. By the time I escaped the stone villa, I was still shaken. She had almost seen right through me. System, I grumbled. Why did you assign me such a high-level female lead? She's impossible to handle. The system sounded offended. That's because you haven't been sincere with her. She doesn't feel any sense of security. I rolled up my sleeves. Let me ask you, does handling her strictly mean I have to make her love me? The system hesitated. Of course not. As long as you can resolve her heart sickness and make her feel happy, it's a success. She had found her sister, and I had cured her physical ailments. With only 10% affection left, I was nearly done. The system whispered, "You're truly cold-hearted. You were ruthless to the villainess, and you're just as cold to the female lead." I sneered. "Don't forget that grand wish bundle you promised me." At dusk, I received a call from an unknown number. "Brother-in-law, are you home?" "Slim? What's going on?" He stammered. "Something happened to Boss Mia. I'm at the gate to pick you up." "I'm not coming." "You're at the gate." Suddenly, he screamed, "Brother-in-law, run!" His piercing voice was cut short by the muffled crack of a gunshot. My window shattered. A cold gun barrel was pressed against my forehead, and the stench of decay hit me full in the face. The man in black was tense, his voice trembling. "Don't move." I sighed. As expected, interfering with the plot had triggered the butterfly effect. In the dead of night, a van sped through the forest. I was tied up in the back seat, my head spinning. The driver was none other than the escaped Andrew Holloway. He was arguing with someone on the phone. The person on the other end told him to drive to the southern cemetery. As long as they could lure me there, she was as good as dead. "You'd better not play games with me," Andrew snarled into the phone, "or I'll tell the Stones, and neither of us will make it out alive." He threw the phone down in a rage and floored the accelerator. I sighed. "You're being used. Slow down. I'm afraid the car will flip before Mia even gets there." "Shut up," he screamed. "I'm going to sell you abroad as a beggar. Let's see if you can talk then." "Ha ha." I silently untied the ropes on my hands, looped a cord around his neck, and pulled tight. Caught off guard, he clutched at his throat, thrashing wildly. The steering wheel jerked, and the van swerved violently. I put every ounce of strength into the pull. Snap! The rope broke. Damn it, what kind of low-quality rope is this? Suddenly, bang! A bullet pierced the rear window, and the windshield shattered. Andrew clutched his bleeding arm and slammed on the brakes. I kicked the door open while the van was still moving and tumbled out. Fortunately, I rolled into some bushes which broke my fall, but the impact left me dazed, seeing stars. Mia arrived incredibly fast. I knew then that our accidental encounters at Lana's villa hadn't been coincidences at all. She had planted trackers in my watch and phone, and here I was actually thinking she had let me go. Lana arrived simultaneously. Both of them leaped from their cars and sprinted toward me. Suddenly, I caught a strange scent in the air. My expression shifted instantly. "Get back." The words had barely left my lips when a searing shockwave blasted me backward. Through the ringing in my ears, I faintly heard Mia's soul-wrenching scream. The van had been rigged with a remote control bomb. Andrew hadn't stood a chance to escape. After a disorienting period of darkness and deafening tinnitus, I heard what sounded like fireworks, though I couldn't be sure. I struggled to crawl out of the mud. As my senses returned, I realized with a jolt that those weren't fireworks. They were gunshots. Flames erupted on a distant hill, and a hidden figure was closing in on me. I ducked behind a boulder, taking a deep breath and gripping a jagged stone, instinctively preparing a fatal strike. Suddenly, a figure lunged forward and pulled me into a tight embrace. I knew you were still alive. Thank God. In my head, a chime echoed. Congratulations, host. The female lead's affection level has reached 100%. Lana? I rasped. Yeah, it's me. She comforted me. Don't worry. My men have surrounded the area. You're safe now. Where's Mia? I won't let anything happen to her. Trust me. I'm fine. I can walk, I said, though the pain from my injuries was beginning to throb rhythmically. Lana supported me as we walked toward the edge of the forest. Before long, we reached the cemetery. A car was already waiting, surrounded by a perimeter of armed men in black. 2 men were tied up on the ground, cursing. You Holloway bastard. You dare to set me up. One voice was hauntingly familiar. It was the man who had called Andrew earlier. Lana spoke with chilling composure. That the Stone family produced traitors like you. It truly breaks my heart. The other man crawled to her feet, sobbing and kowtowing. Eldest miss, I was wrong. I shouldn't have listened to his provocations. Please, spare me. Lana gave a dismissive wave, and the men in black dragged them away. The cursing lasted for a few seconds before the world went silent. Get in the car, Lana said to me. I shoved her hand away. Where is Mia? I told you, I won't let her get hurt. Just relax. I looked at her calm, unfazed face, and the realization hit me like a physical blow. You knew there were traitors in your family all along. You let Andrew escape on purpose. You knew he would come to kidnap me. Every single thing that happened tonight. It was all part of your calculation. Lana didn't deny it. I'm truly sorry for using you. But as I said, I will give you a peaceful life. I want Mia to believe you are dead, so that she can never find you again. I questioned her loudly, my voice echoing with disbelief. Just how do you expect to live like this? Seeing the sheer loathing in my eyes, a flash of panic and grief crossed her face. Because I want you to belong only to me. I can yield everything else to my sister, the family, the power, but I want to keep you by my side. I stared straight at her, speechless. Host, why are you still hesitating? The system urged. You have successfully completed the pampering mission. I let out a cold laugh. I cannot stay with you. Give up on that idea. I turned to walk away, but Lana followed closely behind. I know you treated my illness because of Mia. You cared for me and looked after me only because of her. I thought I wouldn't mind, but in the end, I was still jealous of her for having your love. Now, I only need you to love me a little, just a fraction of how you love her. That would be enough. She grabbed my hand, pleading. I'm not inferior to her. I will love you even more than she does. I remained silent for a long moment before speaking. Do you know? Mia isn't as smart as you. That's why she would rather die than use me. Lana released my hand, looking like a child who had committed a terrible mistake. But my mind drifted back to another chaotic night, just like this one, when I first arrived with the mission given by the system. I saw a girl lying in a pool of blood, and I knew she was the villainess of this story. I knew the hardships and trials of her upbringing would push her into the abyss, and that her future was destined for a tragic end. That night, I felt a surge of compassion and saved her. When she woke up, she bared her claws at me, spitting bitter and ungrateful words. I understood then. An orphan growing up in the slums who didn't learn to be ruthless wouldn't survive. But what if you didn't have to be that evil? So I stayed by her side, slowly drawing closer. It wasn't until the system recovered that I snapped out of the dream. I had to complete my mission to have the leverage to negotiate with the system. Lana spoke with a bitter tone. I'm sorry. I interrupted her. It is I who should apologize to you. To be honest, I use you too, just to complete my mission. I looked at her steadily. Actually, you don't truly love me. You've just encountered too few people in your life. As long as you can let go of your heart sickness and live your life earnestly, everything will be fine. If you truly care for me, please do not hold me back. She fell into a long silence, standing solitary in the darkness, looking more desolate than a withered tree. It wasn't until a guard reminded her, Eldest miss, the younger miss is almost here. Should we take Mr. Vance and leave? Lana silently got into the car. She turned to look at me one last time, her expression bleak and mournful. I didn't expect that after all these years. I would still be jealous of Mia. When she was little, she had her parents' love, and now she has yours. As for me, I have nothing. As Lana drove away, the system spoke up weakly. Host, so the one you truly pampered was never the female lead, but the villainess. Does she even need pampering anymore? I mused. One look from me, and she follows me anywhere. The system gave a disdainful huff. A villainess isn't that easily redeemed. From a distance, I saw Mia sprinting toward me. Her clothes were torn, her face a mess of blood, tears, and grime. She looked exactly like she did the day I first found her. I reminded the system, don't forget that grand wish bundle you promised. Don't worry, the system replied begrudgingly. You've completed the mission. Everything that belongs to you will be given. Furthermore, the villainess's affection for you has completely overflowed. You have successfully redeemed her. I opened my arms wide, and Mia lunged into them, clinging to me with everything she had. Her tears soaked my chest as she sobbed uncontrollably. I'm sorry, it's my fault. I didn't protect you. I let her cry until her emotions stabilized, but eventually, I couldn't help but groan. Loosen up a bit. I've got wounds. Her grip tightened even more. Those bastards. I'll make their entire families pay. I'll bury them all. Bury who? I'm not dead, I chided. And what about you? Are you okay? She wiped her eyes and shook her head. Hospital. Now. 3 months later, I rented a small house in the old quarter and opened a clinic there. There was a lush, shady tree in the yard where I'd lie on a lounge chair during my downtime to catch the breeze. Just as I closed my eyes, the megaphone at the gate would crackle to life. Dr. Vance, your wife is playing hero again. I grabbed my straw fan and stood up, leisurely sliding into my flip-flops. As I passed the electronics shop next door, where a soft melody was playing, I spotted Mia. She had just been out buying groceries. At the end of the alley, I could hear a group of people crying out in terror from a distance. We're sorry. We won't do it again. So young, and yet you're already bullies instead of learning anything useful. Mia's voice boomed. Try it again and see what happens. I cleared my throat. Mia, her fierce queen of the underworld, expression vanished instantly. Still clutching her bags of vegetables, she ran to my side like a loyal hunting dog. Hubby, what are you doing here? She took the fan from my hand and started fanning me enthusiastically. What were you doing? I asked. Oh, just playing around. She shot one final look at the thugs, who helped each other scramble away in a panic. That's when I noticed a small boy huddled in the corner of the wall. His face and body were covered in bruises from the bully's beating. I recognized the boy as Grandma Lee's grandson. The whole family lived in this alley, and I had seen him around several times. I brought him back to the clinic to disinfect and stitch his wounds. The boy timidly apologized to me, pulling crumbled pocket money from his backpack to pay for the medicine. I chuckled and patted his head. No need. If you run into trouble later, just find this big sister here. She used to be a real underworld boss. Suddenly, a ding echoed in my head. Host, the female lead has arrived. I walked over to the audio shop just a wall away. A modest Cayenne car was parked there. Mia was leading Lana through a sound system test. A gentle melody began to play. This brand isn't bad. The highs are precise, the mids are sweet, and the lows are deep. In short, it's transparent, I remarked. If you like it, I'll give it to you, Mia nodded, quoting movie lines by heart. This song doesn't actually demonstrate what you just described. It seems you don't understand your own products very well, Lana noted. Mia blinked innocently. But my hubby loves this song. He says he needs me every minute. If he doesn't see me for just a moment, he starts to panic. That's why I play this every day. It was clearly she who suffered from such separation anxiety. Lana's expression darkened. Mia gave a mischievous grin. See, we've only been apart for 3 minutes, and he's already come looking for me. Lana froze, turning around stiffly. Vance. Her composure betrayed a hint of tension. I stepped forward and said with a smile, You got here quickly. Then I turned to Mia. Go home and get the tea canister from the cabinet. Reluctantly, she headed out. Lana sat across from me. Thank you. She was thanking me for not telling me the truth about the kidnapping. With Mia's temperament, there was no telling what chaos she would cause if she knew. I replied, I consider you to be her last remaining relative. Lana looked disappointed. It's I who failed to play the role of an elder sister properly. While boiling the water, I asked, "So, how's your health been lately?" She tried to steady her spirit. "Very well. There are just many family matters to handle. Some of the elders still need someone to lean on." "Don't blame me for taking you away from that life," I said softly. "No," Lana replied. "Being able to see the two of you living happily with my own eyes, it puts my mind at ease." By the time you returned, Lana was already gone. "She's gone? Then what did she even come here for?" "To annoy you. She said next time she's coming back to take your speakers." I teased. Mia let out a dramatic gasp. "She's actually coming back for them?" "I was only joking when I said I'd give them to her." "She wouldn't be serious, would she? After all, your speakers have precise highs, sweet mids, and deep lows, right?" She hummed playfully, nuzzling her head against my shoulder. "Even you're making fun of me now?" "I don't care," she muttered. "From now on, you aren't allowed to see her anymore. And you aren't allowed to leave me behind ever again. Haven't I already stayed? And yet you still dare to hide there and eavesdrop." I gave her a stern look. "No bedtime duties for you tonight." She let out a wail of despair. "No, I was wrong. I'm sorry." That night, she still tried to sneakily climb into my bed. I firmly tossed her pillow back down. "If you won't sleep, go to the living room." She immediately laid down on her floor pallet. However, it wasn't long before she spoke up again. "Hubby, can I just hold your hand? I'm scared." Exasperated, I reached my hand down from the bed. She grabbed it like it was a priceless treasure, holding on tight. "You won't abandon me, right?" "Yes," I grunted. "And you only love me, right?" "Yes," I repeated. She finally seemed at peace, letting out a long sigh. "Before, I wanted everything," she whispered. "I wanted to be full, to be warm, and to never be bullied again. But even after I got all that, I still felt like I had nothing. Until you appeared." She squeezed my hand. "You are my guardian angel." I rolled over. "Read fewer romance novels, please." She bolted upright, accusingly. "Your last name is Vance, but you have no romance in your soul. You don't love me at all." I laughed. All right. I love you. You're my angel, too." She was instantly mollified by that one sentence. I knew it. The moonlight outside the window drifted gently into the room. Everything was quiet. Just as I was drifting off, I felt her stirring again. Mia murmured into the dark. "It's past midnight now. Today is over. The night is still long, and we still have so much further to go." The story ends here. Thank you for listening.